And if someone was asking what type of industries would Gardner try to be attracting today, or what kind of businesses would Gardner try to be attracting today, and how would you go about it, I don't think we'd have a very good answer to that, because there's really not a up-to-date strategy and a good understanding of what the opportunities are, or the actions that you would take in order to maximize those opportunities. So the Economic Development Strategic Plan is something that has really kicked off in the past few weeks, and will pick up steam within the next few months. The city's contracted with a consultant, Chapin Consulting, out of California. The purpose of the plan is to identify opportunities for economic development, to create jobs and grow the commercial tax base. You might say a few other things also, but that's mainly it. It's a 5-year plan with objectives, strategies, and actions. So, in contrast to the comprehensive plan is a 20-year plan. It's a little bit broader. It's more, I guess, more visionary in a lot of ways. This is really a practical 5-year plan for economic development. It includes an assessment and analysis of the current situation. It includes intensive data gathering and engagement of knowledgeable local people. So the consultants, with help from staff, will interview and meet with people that know a lot about economic conditions. Some of those people are very much local people. Not all of them are. Some of them are in the region. And I mentioned before, it's coordinated with the comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan has an element in it that deals with economic development. It will be coordinated with that, so they support one another, and there are no inconsistencies. So why is economic development important to electric power? If it's not obvious, decisions about electric power should be made based at least in part on an economic development strategy. And one thing I know Bill Krajcik always said to me is the utility is interested in growth and supporting growth and making the most of growth. And he's really talking about economic development. The schedule: research and analysis of data, March through May 2014. Stakeholder interviews, April through May 2014. An on-site tour and work session. The consultant will actually be here, spend a few days here in May 2014. And review and adopt a strategic plan July, August 2014. And that's the end of my presentation. If anybody has any comments or questions, I'd be happy to entertain those.
You can go first.
One of my questions is, how do we get involved in that process to help provide information as to what would be beneficial to the actual electrical system? For instance, improving the load factor. Obviously, the comprehensive plan is we're going to grow out this direction, potentially. We're looking for this type of development. It might have this kind of commercial or industrial load. And you don't know specifics, obviously, without certain businesses, but is there a way for us to get input into to provide the information that the load factor of the system needs to go up to improve the efficiency of the system?
Okay.
So it'll lower the average cost.
Right, it'll lower the average cost for everybody in town.
Okay. I think the best way to do that would be actually to meet with me. Maybe I would suggest maybe have a meeting with me, have a meeting with David. Same time, we can discuss it, take good notes. You can certainly submit something to me as well, however you'd like to go about that. But I think that would be the best way to handle that.
Okay, fair enough.
Let me interject. I think the partnership that Mark is talking about is obviously vital, to this plan. But I think, to my call's point, is that we as a board could put together some bullet points and then send in, Mark and Lance or whoever to meet with David and Mike more on a one-on-one over a cup of coffee, but so that the input is holistic, if you will, and then we could drill down with those reps, talking with our city leaders. I think think would be the best way to do it if we wanna get that on the agenda, you know.
Identify the streets and make
Right.
that more really important, identify the streets that we need. I think
Absolutely.
Dave knows a little bit about that, you know, so.
Yeah.
Because we need more industrial, commercial load, and if we get more of that, it'll lower the average cost for the residential.
Mhm.
So, in other words, I think it'd be more attractive to have some of that load as more, continue to have more residential, where your average cost will still be high, because of the load factor that Mark brought up.
Yeah, that'd be the desired outcome, and if we could get those bullets together from that pros and cons, or, you know, operationally, what do we need to drive those, you know, those outputs?
I would suggest too, is when we give a draft comprehensive plan, to get an opportunity to review that. I would say some of the comments you just made, we'd probably want to do that within the next month, honestly. I think that'd be the best thing to do. In fact, within the next couple of weeks, if we can. A lot of the comprehensive plan is really pretty general in nature, but there are things that spring off of the comprehensive plan, such as the capital improvement plan. There are items that are more focused that implement the plan, and one would be the capital improvement program, things like changes in zoning, maybe specific focused area studies about certain issues.
But the plan should be able to assist you and help you identify what you're seeking, you know, so.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we'll get something pulled together and get it over, and then have some reps in there to visit with you on our strategic, you know, long view.
That'd be great.
Another question, I don't know how familiar you are with it, but we put together an economic development rider for Garner Energy.
Mm-hmm.
And they went through several iterations and finally was approved by the board, and then we worked with Cheryl on it. Do you know what the status of that is, since that was done a year ago? Is it still in force or available for usage?
If you asked me 3 months ago or 6 months ago, I'd say it's in force because you adopted it. I don't know the answer to that question today.
Wouldn't that be a good question for Tom Reeder, though? Aren't
No,
those
I think it's probably a question for the city attorney,
Okay.
Yeah.
but I just didn't know if you knew the answer to it.
I cannot answer it today, but I think that's something that we can get you an answer to.
Because I thought those dollars are earmarked for Southwest Johnson.
No,
No,
he's
not
talking about the
dollars.
rates, economic.
I
development.
apologize.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is,
I'm
I'm
following.
just wondering, since
I got
our
it.
status has changed, how
I
does
got
that
it.
policy change?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
One thing that I'm not sure I stated this very clearly in these slides, but one thing the strategic plan will do, the economic development strategic plan, what I anticipate is it will identify organizational changes that should happen, but also what type of incentives should be provided, what the incentives program should be in order to carry out the strategic plan and how that's done. The thing about the economic development strategic plan, being a strategic plan, is that it gets adopted and annually it's reviewed and it's constantly being looked at. It's really a working document. And if it isn't that, then it's not really being used the way it's supposed to be used.
It dies quickly.
Yeah, and incentives, and the rider, the economic development rider that you adopted would be part of that.
Well, since obviously this should be probably ongoing, but since things are in flux right now with new plans coming out, and we're gonna meet anyway, I'm wondering if maybe over second half of this year at least, we should try to get together a little bit more often, Dave and Mike, just so that there's the back and forth. I mean, you know, if we discuss something here and you never hear about it, it doesn't do any good for what you're wondering from an
Right.
electric standpoint. And if there's something in the plan that says, hey, it'd be good if we did this, but, you know, the board's oblivious, we probably ought to find some way to share that information better. We, as a board, probably haven't done a good job of that in the past. So maybe we'll set something up.
Okay.
Before